So I'm Josh Komairov. I'm the Director of Government Affairs with the ARC of Massachusetts. And today we held our 31st annual legislative reception for people with disabilities here at the State House. The theme of today's event was inclusion and building bridges. We had a great showing. The event is sponsored by the ARC and co-sponsored with the Mass Developmental Disabilities Council as well. We had a range of speakers. We presented our Legislator of the Year awards to Senator Stephen Pangiotakis, Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, who's delivered historically just a great budget, the best possible budget that he can for people with disabilities, as well as Michael Costello. Representative Michael Costello was awarded Legislator of the Year for his work to change the name of the Department of Mental Retardation to the Department of Developmental Services, and that name change is going to take place July 1 of this year. So everybody is very excited about that important change.
About how many people did you have today in support?
Oh, I don't know. What did Leo say?
About 400, I think he said.
I think we had about 400 people or so. At the height of it, for sure. And we had a really good showing too. From a lot of legislators were able to stop by. From what I understand, they were having a pretty important hearing. I think before the governor, actually, on transportation issues. So I think that did sort of hinder some people from getting there, but it seemed like a lot of people did make it by to pick up their packets and hear some of the people talking about the importance of funding services for people with disabilities.
What kind of impact could this have on other people if for some reason they deny some of the budgetary access?
Right. You're looking at in the last 6 months upwards of $85 million worth of cuts to services for people with disabilities, and those cuts are real. They're not just numbers on a paper. You're talking about $45 million in family support services, and those services provide everything from respite for a family to specialized equipment, for people just to be able to get around and go swimming. To wheelchair ramps and that kind of thing. So that family support money is really we often say that it's the most cost-effective program in the Department of Developmental Services, because for just a little bit of money you're serving 11,000 people, and they're getting for a couple $1,000 services that make all the difference, and help them to be able to stay at home with their family, instead of potentially having to go, live somewhere else where it can be a lot more costly, like a residential program, or a school, a residential school, that can end up costing the state a lot more money in the long run. So it really is in the state's best interest to fund those services and to find a way to pay for the $45 million in cuts for family supports. And of course there are other cuts as well. I'll just touch on a couple. There's an extended employment program through the Mass Rehab Commission that took a sizable cut of about $7 million. That's going to affect people being able to maintain and find work in the community. And again, if the consequences of that would be that people who were working now have to stay at home, which has a domino effect in the sense that parents or loved ones who may need to quit their jobs to stay at home, and it ends up costing the state a lot more money in the long run if those services aren't funded. And to touch on one more, is the Autism Division took a cut as well. There's just exploding population of people with autism. It's being identified more, and there's, for a lot of reasons that are unknown, there's a huge increase in autism diagnosis, and there's very little in the way of services for people with autism. So the little services there are actually being cut, which is obviously going to have impacts.